Hello and welcome to In Focus. I'm your host, Yesenia Taveras. Alan Duffy Samuels is a native of Wilmington, Delaware. He is a former professional basketball player, and he's the founder and CEO of Duffys Hope Inc, a community outreach and education program that has reached over 4,000 youth. He joins us today to talk a little bit about his journey as well as Duffy Hope Incorporated. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us. I mean, there's so much I could say right now. I mean, you're actually a pillar of our community. You've done so many amazing things, and it's just too much to talk about, but we want to get into it.
Wow, you made me sound old.
Definitely not old. Definitely not old. I actually remember when I first met you, when I was part of the Least Access channel, and I was a young teenager, and you had brought, I believe it was Megan Good,
yes,
to the station, and that's when I just discovered all the amazing things you've been doing since 1998.
Yes, actually, you should keep doing it. Made me sound old. Yeah.
That's because you were like in your 19s and 20s then.
Yeah, thank you. Way to clear it up. I appreciate it. Yeah.
So, Duffy, tell us a little bit about who you are as a person. If you don't mind, how did you get the name Duffy?
Well, let me see. There's so many different stories. Let's call my mom and ask her because she has the real story. But it goes all the way back to, I think my mom, my grandma used to watch this show called The Mob Squad.
Okay.
So it was first I heard it was a dog named Duffy, and every time they called the dog, I would, and it barked, and I would go jump up as a baby. Oh. But then they said it was a guy on there named Duffy. So I don't know the true story right now. But hopefully I'm not named after a dog. So we have to ask my mom. So Mom, you're watching. Can you call into the station? The number is 911. And tell them. But yeah, I grew up here in Wilmington, and my mom was a single parent who really worked hard and really wanted the best for me and my sister. Our house was called, they used to call it the house that Jack built because her door was always open, never stayed locked. She used to, cook food and then everybody come over and eat. So she always gave, but, gave food, gave, whatever money she had, gave out to people. So for me, I always looked at it like that. As my mom always given, and she didn't even have it, but she made a way for me and my sisters to really to do what we need to do as young people. And I ended up getting into sports at a young age because of my uncles, football mainly, and I ended up turning into basketball. And I just coming from the east side of Wilmington, which it was a town where was not. I mean, we had drugs, we had crime, but it wasn't as it is now. Mm-hmm. And for me, my focus was not to go down the negative path. You hang out with some people and you do some things as a kid and you don't realize it, and then you start having people around you. As when I was growing up, I had Norman Oliver, I had Maurice Pritchett, I had Coach Lee, I had Judge Farnan, Rashid Mustafa, folks like that who really paved the way, who really sat down and talked to me about, leaving the street life alone, don't get caught up in that, and become a person who's going to get back to their community.
So even though you were brought up in a single family household, it's great to hear that you did have men to look up to that kind of helped you along the way.
Absolutely, I did. I had men that I can look up to, especially my uncles who actually lived in my mom's house. So, well, one of them anyway, and he was the biggest person because he was in the sports and he's very competitive. To this day, he's still competitive, mm-hmm. And he always pushed me to do the best I could, and stay focused and always go do your best. So.
And how important is it for someone to really have someone to look up to? Because unfortunately, in a lot of single-family households, there are some young boys who don't have a man to look up to. Rather, if it's through an organization or a family member, if they were adopted or in foster care, like how can one maneuver try to find someone that can actually help them?
It's very important because, sometimes, you never know the impact that you have on a person because just by taking some time out of your schedule, not spending money, spending time and giving them some knowledge because, the men didn't give me money. They gave me time and they gave me knowledge and they showed me a better way. So it's important. So, I think they should reach out to organizations like the big brothers, big sisters, boys and girls club that can provide mentors, the fraternities, and even sororities for the females, because I think we all play a role in society that we need to really look after our young people. And like I said, I always say this in my speech, it only takes a second to talk to a young person.
That's right.
And say one thing that might catch their ear. You just say, hey, like I always tell kids, pull your pants up. And that starts a conversation, because they won't come back and be disrespectful. They say, okay, sir. And that's the reason why I told you to pull your pants up, because it doesn't look good. What are you planning on doing? Then this when I go, what do you want to do with your life? And then we start talking. That starts the dialogue. So and that's what I always recommend to everybody. So it's very important. Going back to your question, it's very important that kids who come out of a single parent household or kids who had their grandparents raising them, don't use that as an excuse that your father's not around, your mother's not around. Use that as an excuse. Use that as a vehicle, as motivation to move forward, to work, be determined to do better.
Right.
So you can be successful, because a lot of times people use it as an excuse why they want to act out. But for me, it was a motivation, because I want to do better.
That's right. And the great thing about it too is that these friendships that you've developed at such a young age, you're still friends with today.
Yes.
And that's amazing.
Yes.
That's a beautiful thing.
That is.
So it continues on. That's like a lifetime gift that you really can't unwrap. It's there forever.
Right.
And so let's talk about your basketball career. As you mentioned, I don't know if basketball found you or you found basketball, but let's talk a little bit about your youth in regards to, like, you were just this amazing basketball player at Glasgow High School. How did this all happen? Was there like a lot of long hours and dedication?
Wow,
take us back to this time in your life.
Wow. Well, one of the things you talk about basketball career, I was never the best basketball player on my team. I had other guys on my team that was better. Shahid, Corey, Stephen, all these guys were a lot better than me. And I mean, we was a team to be reckoned with. Glasgow, they used to put it, if you find an article back in 91 to 92, they would say we were the price of admission to come see us. People used to sell tickets to come see us play. We were actually good. And it was very entertaining for us to play, and I really enjoyed it. And that's what basketball's all about. We was a team. We was a family, We started in our community east side as a family, and then we took it on the court.
And I was going to say, was there a sense of brotherhood too even then? Was there a lot of different players from different sides of the city at Glasgow?
Yes, it was different players. It was, we had east side, we had some people from the Hilltop, and then we had Newark. So it was a brotherhood.
Because it could be very competitive, but to be all playing on the same team and learning how to actually work with each other.
And I think, because we had a great leader. When Coach Heyman came in, it was my 11th grade year.
Okay.
And we had, he came in and he took, and the thing about it, when he got the job, he left Newark's girls basketball team. One of the things they said to him is, you want to go over there and coach them thugs?
Oh, wow.
And that, for us, that was motivation for us to prove people wrong, that we wasn't thugs, that we're human beings. So what you say hurts us too, it bothers us. But we showed and proved that we did it in the classroom and also off the court, because he had, if you know the Heyman family, if anybody knows them, it's about 1,000 of them. They in Newark, Delaware City. So his whole family helped out educational-wise as well. We did educational workshops on weekends. They had tutoring set up for us. So it wasn't no reason for any of us to fail. Mm-hmm. And that's why his graduation rate for athletes was great, because he had the support and the resources for us, and he cared about us. He cared about us as people and persons first, then athletes.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And with your athletic skills, like you mentioned, it's just as important to have that academic skill background as well to transition into the next step in your life.
Absolutely.
Some go to college, some don't. Talk to us a little bit about your transition into the university life, and what did that do for you at that age before you went to the pros?
Well, for me, it was, and see, I messed up my 10th grade year before Coach Heyman came in. I fell off the basketball team because I wanted to, hang out with my friends, be in the streets, not do my schoolwork. So that set me back. So when Coach Heyman came in and we had the tutoring set up, and I started doing well in my 11th, 12th grade year, I didn't have the grades or the SAT scores to go into any Division I school. So I went to Hagerstown Junior College first.
Okay.
And that's in Western Maryland. And going from Coach Heyman, a laid back coach, I went to a coach that was fiery, like Bobby Knight and John Chaney, who really cared about us too. But it was just something different about him. He pushed us, academically. He also pushed us as people outside in the community that we should handle ourselves a certain way. Then basketball was next. And from there, I met an academic advisor, Dr. Nurkowski, who helped me, prepare for going on to a Division I school. And, you went from a small junior college to a Division I school. Now you're talking about, you're going from 4,500 people at the junior college to now I was at 21,000 people. So now I'm in a big classroom. My biology class is like 400 some people. So like, whoa, it's like going to a concert or something,
Right.
So that transition from high school to junior college to a Division I school, a university, it was like, wow. And it was like, but the thing about it was, the great thing about it was I chose the schools that fit me, that really cared about my academics, not just my athletics.
That's great.
And so we had, support systems around that really helped us, because when we, being at Old Dominion, we traveled a lot and we had tutors on the road, so we had to get the work done. And our coach, rest in peace, Coach Capel, he instilled a lot of stuff in us, and especially with academics. And one of the things, we all in our biology class in Old Dominion, it's like we all took the same class, like the basketball team, the girls team, the boys team, the baseball team. So certain days, if one person skipped the class, everybody skipped it, so the whole back 2 rows are empty. So when we go to practice, coach said, did anybody miss class? And we were like, no. And he's like, you sure? And everybody said, no. He said, get on the line, start running, because he already got the report that we missed class.
Wow. So suicides are up.
Yeah, so suicide. So, but going to a university really helped me become a young man, because get the kiddish ways out, because now you got to finish yourself, because the professor's not going to make sure you get your work done.
Right.
They're not going to say, hey, you didn't hand your work in, you didn't hand your homework in, you ain't, you got to prepare for your test. They just get you ready and tell you. And it's also, because you have a social life, you have, you had your basketball career, basketball job that you got to fulfill because you're on a scholarship. So it's a lot of things. And then you had the distractions, the parties, the girls, all that stuff.
Right. And how were you able to balance it all at such a young age?
It was hard, but, your determination, because one of the things you want to do is you want to graduate with a degree, but also your goal was to try to make it to the NBA. So, you knew things were a distraction for you, but you wanted to stay focused.
Right. And so how did your professional career come about?
It was a struggle, I tell you that. So, I didn't get drafted. I did work out, did some camps, and I actually worked out in Philly with the Sixers, and didn't work out there, and I actually had the opportunity to go overseas and play basketball.
I was going to say, you did play overseas.
Yeah, I played basketball overseas, which was good. And, just going back and forth, I got the experience. I always tell kids you look at my passport, you see all these stamps on there. I had the opportunity to really enjoy life, like see
the world.
See the world. And I did it because of Lower Orange basketball. And, and I had the opportunity, I know that's one of your questions, is, had the opportunity to play for a short time with the Globetrotters,
Yes.
And once I got done playing basketball, I actually had a daughter who's now 25. I had her in college, and I didn't get a chance to see her grow up. So when I started, getting tired of playing overseas, I was done. Then my agent called, said the Globetrotters want you to come on tour, and I was like, nah, no thanks. Then he called again like a couple months later. It's like, hey, they want you again, and here, this is what they want to offer. And I said, okay, my bags are packed. And so I went on tour. It was a great experience, because, you know, who ever thought that I would be out there? You know, I'm always, you know, people, my aunt always get on, you know, y'all don't know the real Duffy. I should go up there and tell people who the real Duffy is, because I'm a clown. I like to have fun. I do a lot of jokes and things like that. But
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but people see me in another light, like my parents, my kids, they see me as being serious, you know. I might crack one joke, but they see me differently. But my family sees me a whole different way. Matter of fact, I'm going to do a plug. We got a reality show coming out. Nah, just joking. But for me, it was an opportunity for me to go because I used to watch them when I was a kid. I seen the cartoon they had and all that. And just to have
amazing tricks.
Yeah, just to have the opportunity to meet Manny Jackson, who was the owner of the Globetrotters. You know, and a lot of times, you know, you gotta learn the history of some of the stuff, you know, of the Globetrotters. Because for me, I thought it was Harlem. Thought it started in Harlem, New York, but it wasn't. It was in Chicago. So it's things that you gotta learn and things you have to do. I mean, that's being disciplined is very rough. You know, some of the things that they do. So.
And that's amazing because I didn't know there were so many people that came from Wilmington that played for the Globetrotters, like Tony Hill and Joe Richmond with the Delaware Blue Coats. We just had him on recently, and it's just amazing to hear how so many individuals right here in our hometown were able to play for such a significant team. Yeah. So in regards to the birth of Duffy Hope, before we get into that, you were able to mention a little bit about your upbringing, you know, being raised in the city of Wilmington, facing certain hardships and things of that nature. But I did want to share in regards to just like the crime and violence that we face in our city. Unfortunately, the city of Wilmington gets this bad rap about being murder town and so much going on crime-wise. And a lot of people are still in the middle in regards to how do we deal with that. You have the judicial side and you also have the community side. But how have you're such a pillar of our community. A lot of people know who Duffy is, and you've affected so many youth, over 4,000 inner city youth in regards to all the programs you have at Duffy Hope. And for you, unfortunately, crime has affected your family. So could you share with us a little bit about how you've been able to tackle on this hardship that has presented in your life?
For me, first thing is, you know, people, a lot of times Wilmington get a bad rap for people who don't live in Wilmington. They just see it, just like we always, you know, when I was growing up, they always talked about how New York was bad, you know, crime, this and that, the gangs and up there. But you go to New York, certain places, you can go in, it's fine. Just like in the city of Wilmington, you come in and, you know, you have crime, you have drugs, you have that in every city in town.
City. That's right. But
the thing about it is, if you don't bother them, they're not going to bother you. And a lot of time with this crime, I think people, do we have an issue? Yes. And one of the things I would say to the audience, the viewing audience, is we can't keep blaming the police department, the mayor, city council. It's a community issue. We got to take pride in our own community first. We have to take our community back and really stop being afraid of the kids, the youth. Talk to them. Show them ways that they can do other than selling drugs, being a gangbanger. Show them other ways that they can make it in this world.
That's right.
And just have that, like I said, just have that conversation with them. That's all they want, somebody to have a conversation with them. Not talk down to them, not disrespect them. Just talk to them and say, hey, how can you help me get out of this situation? Because we all had a situation to get out of.
Right.
And so we just got to figure out what's the strategy to help these young men, these young ladies from these communities that I grew up in, ways to get out and give them jobs, help them find the proper housing, because some of these houses that they live in is, you know, you got slumlords who are not really taking care of, you know, the houses. So if you live in a house that the owner don't care about it, why would you care about it? Right. And then we got to get the community start caring about their own community, because no matter what, you can come in and bring your organization want to clean up, but you leave right back out. So they have to take ownership of their community.
That's right.
And for me, you know, it hit home, you know, a year and a half ago for me because of my nephew, who's a kid that came home from college, you know, was in my program as well. You know, he came from a single parent household. My sister raised him, did a great job. And, it's unfortunate, he went to a visual just to go see somebody, to pay respects to somebody he knew. And he didn't, it was actually the day of my daughter's sweet 16 birthday party. He was supposed to be coming to her party right as he went to the visual. And to get the phone call that he was shot during my daughter's birthday party, we will never forget that day. And for, my family, my sister, who is her only child, is really struggling, My mom is struggling too, and we all are, but especially my sister. That's her only son. She can't go to any more graduations and see her son graduate from college. He graduated from high school. He was in college, and just wanted to come home, and he actually just spoke at Brandywine High School where he went. He graduated from the year a couple months ago, a couple months before he was killed. And the teacher wanted him to come in and talk about overcoming obstacles, because this kid actually was so far behind, like with graduating. He was like almost in the 10th grade level, but considered a senior almost, because of his age and where he was. And he not only went to school, he went to night school, he did online school, so he pushed it.
He pushed through.
To get to that part right there, to get that degree. And at first, and I'd be the first one to hit, and if he was alive, he'd tell you, I doubted him, but I also pushed him, because I said, and I doubted him by not taking him on the college tour that year, because I was like, man, you still gonna be in school. Right. And that was my doubt, but he pushed through, and he said, Uncle Duff, I did it. And it was a proud moment right there, to see my nephew walk across the stage.
That's amazing to hear. Just like the many men who've pushed you in your journey, you were able to be that beacon of light for him to push through and help him, show him the way. Yeah,
and then just to be speaking, I'm not exactly the exact date that he came. I think it was like the 12th. I think the 14th. He was at Brandywine speaking to the class there about overcoming obstacles. And then he had a free day where he actually was trying to get somebody to help him wrap his mom's Christmas gift, because he wanted to get it done early, because he didn't want her to see it. And, people were too busy to do it. Okay. And then the next day is when it happened. And it's sad because it was an innocent kid who doesn't bother anyone.
Right, has so much life ahead of him.
Yeah, he had a whole bunch of life ahead of him. And he was a kid who liked bringing people together.
Just like his uncle.
And his grandma. And like bringing people together, and always wanted to help people like his mother. And so, for me, we're angry. We still looking for answers. We still waiting for the detective to come back with some answers. The Attorney General's office, and nothing has came up yet.
So how have you guys been able to deal with that as a family? I know you just spoke about just coming together as one, but is there anything that you could share with, like, even those who are going through a similar experience, what's been able to help you through this process?
A lot of praying. Checking on one another, making sure everybody's okay. And for me, honestly, because I deal with so many different kids and families, I have so many different personalities, and the stuff that went through with my nephew, I go see a therapist. And to just talk about some of my anger, frustration, and some of my guilt, because I could have been better for my nephew as well.
And thank you so much for sharing that, because there is that stigma there for our community that we don't seek help and we don't seek therapy, but mental health is just as important as inner peace. And so just being able to share that and knowing that it is helping along the journey.
Yeah, it's definitely helping. I always say that because the families I work with, and I can't say it and not do it myself. It's like, hey, we always, you don't want to go to see a therapist or a counselor because it always can make us seem like we're crazy. It's not that you're crazy. It's somebody that can't judge you. Someone can just listen and they give you some sound advice or sound suggestions. And it's, for me, it's peaceful. It's definitely, I come in tore up and leave relieved.
That's
and so so families who's going through this as well, you know, your son or daughter or uncle or father has been murdered, killed, you know, stay together as a family, pray, check on one another, and don't give up with the police department. Keep calling them every day, figure out what's going on. Try to figure out, you know, don't try to solve it yourself by try to play Columbo or Inspector Gadget, go out here and to the community. Don't do that, but, you know, just talk to the police, talk to the Attorney General's office, or your pastor who can help you, guide you in the right direction.
And you're so strong-willed. You, like I mentioned, you're such a pillar of our community, and there's so many things that lie on your table of things to do on a daily basis. And the beautiful thing is that your nephew's legacy is going to continue in regards to who he is as a person. And what we all know about Duffy and his celebrity basketball games is now going to be in honor of your nephew this year. A lot of people were in question if this was going to be a celebrity basketball game that was still going to continue this year after this hardship. But you've been able to push through, and you're opening up your doors, and you're still putting in this hard work. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, and you know, we took a year off last year because just wasn't mentally ready to do it, and so I decided I wanted to do it this year because my nephew only missed 1 year, and that was the year he went to college. He had to go early.
Okay.
And he used to come every year, and I used to always yell at him because he always used to bring all these other people with him through the back door to get these passes. Right? I'm like,
get the family hookup.
Yeah, I'm trying to make money, Keenan. You're taking away from me. You got all these people with you, man. They want passes, you know. So for me, I didn't put on my flyer, but I'm planning on doing it. This is a celebration of my nephew. I want to honor him this weekend, that weekend of the celebrity game, which is August the 3rd. Because he was a faithful, you know, not just a customer, but he was a faithful fan and attendee. You know, he would put on his social media, he would, you know, pass out flyers after I get on him, and he'd attend. And I just feel like I owe that to him because, you know, the reason why I like to see the smiles on people's faces. And one of the smiles I seen on his face was, and he used to have it in his room at my mom's house. He had a picture of him and Megan Good, an autographed picture that she gave him, and he always remembered that when she was at the softball game one year. And I remember that smile on his face with Megan, B5, B2K when they were here, and some other celebrities, Raven Simone. So he really enjoyed it. So, and then he used to talk about it to people. Oh, I met this person, you know. And so, and that's what made me say, you know what? You know, because at some point this year, I was great. It was just, I wasn't getting the celebrities I wanted, wasn't getting the funding I wanted, which I still haven't got the funding. Or the, you know, but I have got, so it's meant to be to have the celebrities I have right now.
Yes.
And because so many events are going on this weekend, it's like, wow, we all fighting for the same group of people, and someone's going to be hurting. And so at one point I was ready to shut it down, but I was like, you know what, my nephew wouldn't want me to do that, so I'm going to push and push and push because he likes bringing people together. And if I can get, and I made a joke at the repast when he passed away, that my nephew had more people at his funeral than I had at my celebrity game. That's how much he was. That's how much people love him. And so if I could have that same crowd of people, I would be okay.
No, that's loyalty there, loyalty and friendship.
Yeah.
And so what is there to look forward to in this tournament this year?
Okay, I can get myself together.
Yeah.
So August the 3rd, right? We have a whole weekend full of stuff. Actually, August 1st starts our Evening of Hope Awards Dinner, where we celebrate our kids who are graduating. We got 2 seniors graduating from the program. One's going into the Air Force, and that one's going to Lincoln University. And then we're going to honor some folks in the community who have done some exceptional work. We're going to honor Navient. Yeah. We're going to honor actually one of the city of Wilmington's own employees, Sean Bay Starkey, who works with, I think, Public Works. And that's one of our seniors who graduated going to Lincoln this year.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so and so we're going to, so that night it's at the Christiana Hilton. He's going to the Air Force.
Okay.
I mean the Army, I'm sorry. I said Air Force, Army, correction. And then it's at Christiana Hill, I'm sorry, and it's a $50 plated dinner. And it's a great time. That's where you get to hear stories about, from our kids. I can tell the story, you can hear, but you can hear from the kids and their parents. You can hear from some of the volunteers that volunteer their time. Then on Saturday morning, we had the Teen Town Hall meeting. That's in partnership with Inspired to Be Expired in the kids department. And it's at Wilmington University. And that event is free. It's from 8 to 4. Go on Eventbrite and type in Teen Town Hall meeting. They had some excellent speakers, facilitators. It's going to be a great time. And, it's a smaller event than the big team summit we used to do years ago. Yes. So it's a small, intimate, and we're just excited about it. It's the first year for that, being the Teen Town Hall meeting. And then the celebrity game will be that night, where we're going to, at 5 o'clock, we're going to showcase our high school basketball league, the youth league that I have at the Powell Center on Monday nights for high school boys. Okay. So we're going to have an all-star game to kick off the celebrity game at 5 o'clock. And then at 6:30, we're going to have the celebrity game. It's $20 to get in, $75 for the VIP, which includes a meet and greet with the celebrities. And then you have floor seats, the front row seats. You get that. And the celebrities this year, we just added Ray J yesterday. He's coming back. Oh, nice. If you missed Ray J the first time 2 years ago, you missed a good one. Ray J is a great person. His personality is good. He said, look, I'm gonna come back to Delaware and show my love. That's and amazing. When he heard the story, he reached out to me about my nephew. So that's what makes it special that Ray's coming back, because he really is like, you know what, just get me there. Don't worry about no money or anything like that, And I appreciate him for that. And then we just added Jackie Long, who was in ATL, but actually he's on this Game Changer movie or sitcom that comes on BET. Bobby J from, you can probably remember Little Kid on That's So Raven or The House of Pain, but now he's on Nick's Cannon's Wildin' Out. We also got Jay Hunter from Tyler Perry's If Loving You Is Wrong. We got Manny Love from the Globetrotters. We also have Delaware's own Emilion, who's the poet. So if you ain't seen this guy play, trust me, you don't want to miss Manny Love. And then we added more people each day, so we still adding more folks. So
that's amazing. You see how it's all coming together?
It's coming together.
It's meant to be.
It's meant to be.
I mean, a lot of people in the community, this is a staple event. We all look forward to the celebrity basketball game. Everyone talks about it. It's like the talk of the town that weekend. Are you going? Are you not going? You got to be there.
Taquan Richmond. How can I forget Taquan? Come on. Thank you, y'all. Taquan Richmond. Hey, this guy, I remember Taquan when he was little. He was on Everybody Hates Chris. He's actually on General Hospitals as well. He's been on there for a long time, and now he's on BET's Boomerang. He's the lead role on that show.
And what does it mean for you to get all these celebrities together for our community? I know you mentioned about the smiles, but there's something deeper here, as we can see, that translates through the photos.
Yes, it means a lot that when I call them and they say, oh yeah, sure, Duff, I'll come out. When is it? And some people might try to rearrange the schedule. Some people say, Duff, I got a big job, I can't take away from their money, so, but it's good when I call and I say, hey, I got, during the game again, when I talked to everybody about this year, I said, they said, oh man, because a lot of them say, you didn't call me last year. I said, yeah, I took a year off, and I told them the story, and it was, oh wow, whatever you need, we're there. So it means a lot to see that they're going to spend their time here in Delaware, little old Delaware, especially in Wilmington, spend their time with our young people. So it means a lot, and when they come, they don't just stay in office, but they want to come and be interactive, talk to the fans, and give some advice at the teen town hall meeting. I go back to Ray J, right? I wasn't there, but the security and two of my volunteers took him and Jackie Long 2 years ago to Christiana Mall to get some sneakers for the game. They didn't want to wear the Reeboks that we had, so they were going to get their own sneakers.
Okay.
And it was a little boy in there and a mom, and the kid really wanted these sneakers, but the mom didn't have enough.
Okay.
And Ray J overheard it, and he ended up buying the kid the sneakers.
Wow.
And that parent reached out to my organization, was like, is there anything we can do? Let us know, because we know that you brought this man here, and we're thankful. So, and see, that's what it's all about. It's like these guys giving back. You see them every week on TV, they giving back to the organization, not just to the organization, but to our community. Not just money, but they giving back some advice as well.
That's right. And let's talk about Duffys Hope Inc, because this is where all of this is coming from. It's from the birth of Duffy Hope Incorporated, an organization that's reached over 4,000 city youth and youth in general. So talk to us just a little bit about why you started this organization and what it's all about.
Well, going back to what somebody helped me, the group of men helped me, and so I looked at them as mentors, role models. So for me, I wanted to do the same thing in return, Phil. Once my mom always told me, once you made it outside of Delaware, you made it outside your community, come back and help out. And so with me starting Duffys Hope, I just wanted to give back and start a mentor and prevention program. And that's what I actually started in 1998, but I didn't get incorporated until 2002. So that's why I count all my numbers after 2002, because we've been doing celebrity games since 1998, and that's more than 16 years. So, and our program, but we wasn't incorporated until then.
Okay.
So our program focused on kids ages 12 to 18, and we focus on education, life skill, decision making, job readiness, college readiness, prevention of drugs, alcohol, gangs.
Right, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, there's so much more that we can learn on your website as well, DuffysHopeInc.org. We can get more information there, but I'd just like to take this opportunity on behalf of all of us here just to thank you for your presence today. Thank you for being so personable with us, sharing your journey.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. So hopefully I see everyone there.
Yes, definitely. We all look forward to it. August 3rd, don't forget.
August 3rd, 6 o'clock. 5 o'clock for the high school game, 6:30 for the celebrity game.
Okay. Thank you so much, Duffy. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And on behalf of all of us here at WITN 22, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for watching this episode of In Focus. I've been your host, Yesenia Taveras.